Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talk English Freely. I am Jessica, and I am so happy you are here with us today.
And I am Brian. It is always great to see you all.
Brian, I was thinking about this topic the other day. Ordering food at a restaurant sounds simple, but for a lot of English learners, it can actually feel quite stressful. You have to speak quickly, understand the server, and make decisions all at the same time.
You are so right. I remember the first time I had to order food in an unfamiliar place. I did not know what to say, and I just kept pointing at the menu and nodding.
Oh, wow. I think a lot of people feel that way. Today, we are going to have a natural conversation about ordering food at a restaurant in English. We hope this helps you feel more confident the next time you go out to eat. And if you enjoy our conversations, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. It really helps us.
It truly does mean a lot to us. Now, let us get into today's conversation.
Okay, Brian, let's start from the very beginning. When you walk into a restaurant, what is the first thing you do?
Well, my first step is to look for a sign near the entrance. A lot of restaurants have a sign that says, "Please wait to be seated," or "Please wait here." If I see that sign, I know I have to wait for someone to come and help me. I do not just walk in and sit down anywhere. I learned that the hard way when I was younger. I sat down without waiting, and the waiter gave me a very confused look.
Oh no, that is so funny. I have made that mistake before too. Some places are more casual and you can just find your own seat, but in nicer restaurants, you really do need to wait. I always look for the host stand. That is the little desk near the entrance where someone is usually standing. And once someone comes to greet me, I say something like, "Hi, table for two, please."
That is perfect. Table for two or table for three, just say the number of people in your group. You can also say, "We have a reservation," if you booked a table in advance, or if you did not make a reservation. You can ask, "Do you have any tables available?" Most of the time, they will check and find you a spot. What about you, Jessica? Do you usually make reservations before you go out?
It depends on the restaurant, honestly. For a casual lunch place, I usually just walk in without a reservation. But for dinner at a popular restaurant, especially on weekends, I always try to book in advance. There is nothing worse than arriving hungry and being told the wait is 1 hour.
Oh, I know that feeling. That has happened to me more times than I would like to admit. Now, when you are seated and the server hands you a menu, what do you do first, Jessica?
I look at the whole menu from top to bottom, even the sections I know I probably won't order from. I always check the appetizers, the main dishes, the sides, and even the desserts before I decide anything. And then, after reading everything, I usually order the same thing I always get anyway. It is a little embarrassing when I think about it.
That is so funny. I feel the same way sometimes. I tell myself I'm going to try something new. But then, I always go back to my favorites. But I think it is good to read the whole menu because sometimes you find something unexpected. Something you never would have tried before suddenly catches your eye. Have you ever ordered something completely new and been pleasantly surprised, Jessica?
Yes, actually. One time I was at a Thai restaurant and I almost ordered my usual dish. But then I saw something new on the menu and decided to try it on a whim. It turned out to be absolutely delicious, one of the best things I have ever eaten. Now I try to push myself to order something different at least once in a while.
That is such a great approach. Food is one of the best ways to experience something new and exciting. And in English, you can always ask for help if you are not sure what to order. Asking questions is a perfectly natural part of the dining experience.
Totally. And Brian, what do you do if you don't understand something on the menu? Some restaurants use really specific or unusual words for their dishes.
Oh, that happens to me all the time. Some menus have very specific words for ingredients or cooking methods that most people don't recognize. In that case, I just ask the server. I say something like, "Could you tell me more about this dish?" Or, "What does this come with?" Servers are usually really happy to explain. They know the menu very well and can tell you exactly what is in each dish. Do you ever feel nervous about asking, Jessica?
I used to feel a little shy about it, but I got over that feeling pretty quickly once I realized how helpful servers always are. Now I ask without hesitation. If I see a word I don't recognize, I just say, "I'm sorry. Could you explain what this is?" And they always help. Servers want you to have a great experience. They genuinely want you to order something you'll enjoy.
That is such an important mindset to have. Asking questions shows that you care about making a good choice. One of my favorite questions to ask a server is, "What do you recommend?" I love hearing what they personally enjoy. They usually have a genuine answer, and it is often one of the best things on the menu.
Ah, that is such a useful question. I also like asking what's popular here, because that tells you what most people enjoy ordering. And sometimes the server will also mention the daily specials, not on the regular menu, but available just for that day. Brian, do you always order the specials when you hear about them?
Not always. Sometimes the specials sound amazing, and I order them without thinking twice. But other times, they are a little more expensive or have ingredients I am not sure about. I always listen carefully when the server describes the specials. I make eye contact and nod to show I am paying attention.
That's a really good habit. I try to do the same, but sometimes the server goes through everything so quickly that I miss half of what they say. Is it okay to ask them to repeat themselves?
Of course it is. You can say, "I am sorry, could you say that again?" Or, "Could you repeat that?" No server will mind at all. Actually, they appreciate it when you ask because it shows you are genuinely paying attention. Communication works best when both sides fully understand each other.
Absolutely. And Brian, once you're ready to order, how do you get the server's attention?
In some restaurants, the server comes to check on you at regular intervals. They will ask, "Are you ready to order?" And you can say, "Yes, we are." Or, "Could we have a few more minutes, please?" But in other places, you have to signal the server yourself. I usually make eye contact and give a small nod, or raise my hand slightly. You can also say, "Excuse me," in a calm and polite tone, and that works well in most situations.
Right. And once the server comes over, what is the most natural and polite way to start placing your order?
I usually begin with, "I would like," or "Could I have?" Those are both very natural and polite ways to order. For example, "I would like the grilled salmon, please," or "Could I have the pasta with tomato sauce?" You can also just say, "I'll have the chicken," that is more casual, but still perfectly fine in most settings. What is your go-to phrase when ordering, Jessica?
I usually say, "Can I get," which is very casual and super common in everyday American English. You hear it constantly in cafes and fast food places. "Can I get a coffee, please?" Or "Can I get the burger?" But in a nicer, more formal restaurant, I switch to "I would like" because it sounds more polished and fits the atmosphere better. I think matching your language to the setting is really important.
That is such a smart observation. The language you use should match the place you are in. In a fine dining restaurant, being a little more formal is always better, but in a casual diner or food truck, being relaxed and friendly is completely appropriate. Reading the atmosphere of the restaurant really does matter.
For sure. And Brian, what about when you have a special request? Like, what if you want to change something about a dish or leave out a certain ingredient?
Oh, this is really common and completely acceptable. You can say, "Could I have this without onions?" Or, "Is it possible to get the dressing on the side?" Most restaurants are very flexible and will do their best to help. If you have a food allergy, mention it clearly and directly. You would say, "I'm allergic to peanuts. Is this dish safe?" Or, "Does this contain shellfish?" Always tell your server about any serious allergy or safety comes first.
That is so important to know. I have a friend who is allergic to shellfish, and she always tells the server right away before even looking at the menu. She also asks the server to double check with the kitchen just to be completely sure. No good restaurant will ever make you feel bad for being cautious about your health.
Absolutely. Most restaurants take food allergies very seriously. They want every guest to feel safe and well cared for, and it is always better to ask upfront than to worry throughout the meal.
Agreed. And Brian, what do you do during the meal if you need something extra? Like, if you want more water or you need another napkin?
Good question. I just get the server's attention and make a polite request. I might say, "Excuse me, could I have some more water, please? Or, could we get some extra napkins?" The key is always to be polite and use please and thank you. Those two small words make such a big difference in how people respond to you.
I totally agree. Good manners go a long way in any situation, but especially at a restaurant. Whenever someone refills my water or brings extra bread, I always say thank you right away. It makes the whole experience feel warmer and more enjoyable for everyone.
Those small moments of appreciation are what make a meal truly memorable. Not just the food, but the whole experience and atmosphere. Now, let me ask you something, Jessica. What do you do when the meal is over and it is time to pay?
In American English, we say, "Could we get the check, please?" We always call it the check in the United States. In British English, people usually say, "Could we have the bill, please?" Both are completely correct. It just depends on which country you are dining in. What do you usually say, Brian?
I usually say, "Could we get the check?" as well, or sometimes I catch the server's eye and make a small writing motion with my hand in the air. It is a widely understood gesture that servers recognize right away. I have used it in restaurants all over the world, and it always seems to work.
That gesture really is universal. I love it. And Brian, what do you check for when the bill arrives?
I always look through the bill carefully before paying. I check to make sure everything I ordered is listed and that the prices match the menu. Sometimes small mistakes happen. A dish might appear twice, or a drink might end up on the wrong table's bill. If I notice anything wrong, I politely bring it to the server's attention. I might say, "Excuse me, I think there might be a small mistake here, could you take a look?" Most restaurants fix any errors right away without any fuss.
That's such great advice. It only takes a minute to check your bill, and it can save you from paying more than you should. And there's really no reason to feel embarrassed about pointing out a mistake. It happens at every restaurant from time to time.
That is true. And on the topic of paying, what about tipping, Jessica?
In the United States, tipping is a very big and important part of dining culture. The standard tip is usually between 15 and 20% of the total bill. I always leave a fair tip because servers work incredibly hard and tips make up a big part of their income.
I feel exactly the same way, but it is good to know that tipping customs are very different around the world. In Japan, tipping is not expected and can actually be seen as impolite. In many European countries, you might simply round up the bill or leave a small amount. It is always worth learning about local customs before dining out in a new country.
That is such a helpful reminder. Being aware of local customs makes a real difference when you travel and eat out in new places. And Brian, is there anything else you think English learners should keep in mind about ordering food at a restaurant?
Yes, one final thought. Don't be afraid to take your time. You do not have to rush your decision just because the server is standing nearby. If you need more time, just smile and say, "Could we have a few more minutes, please?" No one expects you to decide in 5 seconds. Take your time and order something you will truly love.
That is such wonderful advice. And I would add, don't worry too much about making small mistakes. Even if you mispronounce the name of a dish or forget a word mid-sentence, it is completely okay. Servers work with people from all kinds of backgrounds every single day, and they are patient, kind, and genuinely helpful. The whole goal of the experience is to relax and enjoy yourself.
Well said, Jessica. Restaurants are meant to be a place where you relax, connect, and enjoy good food. And the more you practice ordering in English, the more natural it will feel every time. Every meal out is a chance to practice and to enjoy something delicious.
That is exactly right, Brian. Every restaurant visit is a little English practice session with great food at the end.
I could not agree more.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really hope our conversation about ordering food at a restaurant gave you some useful phrases and a little extra confidence.
Remember, stay polite, take your time, and never be afraid to ask questions. A little bit of English really does go a long way.
We would love to hear from you. Have you ever had a funny or tricky moment while ordering food in English? Leave a comment below and tell us your story. We read and enjoy every single one.
And if you enjoyed today's conversation, please give us a like and hit that subscribe button. It truly helps us reach more learners all around the world.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.